Welcome into the series premiere of Texans Coffee Talk. And
Is this a pilot?
It's the pilot, and I want to say Coffee Talk in air quotes because I feel like you're going to change the name on this podcast.
I want to.
As soon as we put one out.
I want to. It's working title. Working title, Texans Coffee Talk. Because you and I have discussed this. Like, we don't want this to be a football show necessarily. We're going to talk some football, but we'll talk about the players and talk about other aspects of life, right? Like I got a new dog.
Yes, I definitely want to get into the news about
and
new
it's
dog.
relevant because players have dogs too. Like a lot of
everything
people,
ties into the team.
It all ties in.
JJ, what is dogs?
Look, Watt's dogs.
They're
Do
huge.
they have their own Instagram accounts or just JJ's? They use JJ's Instagram.
JJ's probably got more followers. He'd have to build them up from
if his
scratch
dogs had followers, they would blow us away, like as individuals, right? JJ's dogs would have a huge following on social media.
He was posting about his dogs so much, and now he's just got so many other things. So maybe that's not a bad suggestion to give them their own Instagram.
I think they're feeling left out, actually.
They're not. Maybe they're chilling. I wanted about this podcast. You brought me this idea back during the season when games were going on.
I've wanted to do this. All right, so the idea is like you and I just talk, right? And I've wanted to do this since 2013, just to talk.
You always said that we'd make a great morning show,
yes,
which is like my dream job, but not about sports. I just want to talk about nothing.
Like Regis and Kelly or Kelly and whoever. Is it Ryan Seacrest?
It's Ryan Seacrest now.
What show is he not on? I mean, he does the New Year's Eve thing. He does. Is American Idol still on the, is it still on the air? Is he on it? I don't even watch it.
I don't watch network
But
television.
the fact that he infiltrated that show kind of bothers me. He's a talented guy. Don't get me wrong. It kind of bothers me. And isn't he on the radio, like, allegedly? He must voice track some stuff.
I think he does a morning. I think he does a show on the radio.
Just to say he does it. He's not really there, is he? Like, all the time?
He's superhuman. Yeah, so you literally just burst into the room one day and you said, Coffee Talk.
Right. I'm waiting for the coffee to kick in, by the way.
But yes, you wanted to call
it. It's a big part of this show, coffee.
Should we throw in some of the other names that you've thrown out since
then? Battle Red Brew, but we have the Daily Brew, which is sponsored by, is it Red Diamond?
Red Diamond Tea.
Yes.
That's
and so that's already taken. We could actually have them switch to this, but I can't speak on their behalf. What else? Deep Steel Cafe.
You're on this coffee kick.
I think
Texans Flat Liberty White.
Oh yes, because Liberty White.
I was joking.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna work.
It's okay because whatever we've come up with, Tyler Marcotte, who was running the camera, me and him brainstormed one day because when I take tasks very seriously,
I know
said,
it's way too seriously.
I have my computer and on it says Texans Coffee Talk. There's really nothing else on here.
You wanted a rundown for this show.
I do a rundown for my life, for my days, for my weeks.
So here's how our first pre-show meeting went yesterday.
Which is about how this podcast is going to go,
yes,
too, by the way.
Because you said, we need a rundown. I said, no, we don't need a rundown. We're just going to talk. And then you said, well, what about the Oscars, right? And then you and I talked about the Oscars for 10 minutes. And then I said, that's the show. That's the show.
We talked about what could we possibly talk about the Oscars, and then we went off on a tangent about the Oscars. You're right. I mean, we should just move the cameras into my office for us planning the podcast.
How many of the Best Picture nominees did you see? Have you seen already?
You know what? I hadn't seen any of them.
Not The Irishman because it's
I
Netflix.
had not seen The Irishman. I had not seen 1917.
Which one do you want to see first?
I want to see Parasite.
Yeah, I want to see
That's my to-do list. And you
Best
know what?
Picture.
After Best Picture, it won like 4 other awards.
Yes.
Oh, see, this is on my rundown.
The producer-director kept on getting up out of their seat all night long.
I loved it.
He was into it.
He was so
How could you not be?
charismatic and funny.
Yep.
And even through the translator, he was still really funny. And he said he was going to drink all night. And then he was up there for the next award. And he said, well, I was ready to relax. And
here
I
we
am
are
again.
Yep.
Best International Film Feature, which it's amazing for that to win Best Movie, Best Original Screenplay. So I have a friend who's Korean, South Korean. She lives out in the Bay Area. So afterwards I said, hey, your peeps did really well tonight. And she said, I saw that movie. Her husband, who is not Korean, said he saw that movie and thought that could be like a Best Picture sort of a movie, but it's never going to win because it's up against 1917 and the Irishman.
And it already won Best Foreign Film, right? Best Foreign Language Film or something?
I don't know if that had been announced.
Or do they call it?
They call it international.
Oh, they don't say foreign anymore.
They don't say Best Foreign Film. They say Best International Feature.
Oh, yes. Is that offensive to say foreign? It's because the word foreign implies not from here.
Not one of us.
Yeah,
one of them.
Not one of us. Yeah, I guess they had to do it.
It has an implication that international just sounds more inclusive. I mean, I know people are
of the world.
I know people think that it's not a big deal, but it kind of is.
I guess so.
It's like,
look, I was born in a foreign land. I was born in the Netherlands, okay? I'm an American citizen, by the way, folks. I mean, I'm fully American, Social Security number, registered for the draft,
so
all of
hard
it.
to tell.
But I was born over there,
Right.
Vandermeer, very Dutch, and I was born over there, and then I came over here when I was a little baby. So I'm not a foreigner, but I was from a foreign land.
You had immigrant parents, right? Because your parents
I'm an
came from
immigrant. I immigrated.
Wait, you were born over there?
I was born over there. I had a green card for a while before I became
you
a
are
citizen.
totally an immigrant.
Yes.
We should make the Dutchman.
Yes,
series,
the Dutchman. that would. Oh,
You
the funny
love a-
joke was it Chris Rock who
Yes.
said Scorsese said I enjoyed season 1 of The Irishman because it's a 3 and whatever hour movie and it does take a while. I watched it like a miniseries.
I don't think anybody watched. Everyone that I talked to watched it.
Oh yeah,
like
you
a
chop it up,
Netflix series.
and it wasn't the kind of movie where like I can't stop. Like it wasn't. It wasn't that gripping. It was good. But it was a slow kind of movie. It wasn't Goodfellas, like fast paced. It was more like The Godfather, where you could kind of stop and start up again.
This is not sparking me to want to watch it. P.S.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think
why I
it's a
didn't wanna
must.
watch it.
I really don't think it's a must. In fact, I was surprised it was nominated this year. I really was.
It didn't win anything.
It was good. I enjoyed it because I like all the. You know what The Irishman is? This is it, folks. This is what The Irishman is. It's a classic rock band that you're seeing when they're really old, and it's like like the Who. It's not really the Who anymore, but it's like it's good to see the guys. Daltrey, Towns. It's good to see the guys, but it's not really the Who. Like it's not really Pesci and De Niro because they're all digitized anyway, and they digitally make them younger. Yet they're not that young even when they digitize them. They're still old, And Drew Dougherty was hilarious because he was imitating De Niro beating up a guy, and it's like
his body still moves
his
like
body
an old man.
cannot move. It cannot move like a young man.
So in our Monday meeting, you always start off our Monday meetings with something topical, which I appreciate. Maybe some people are like, just get to the meeting, but I actually like that because like I used to work in.
Does this mean some people are definitely like, just get to the meeting?
No, maybe.
Oh, here he is again talking about something.
He's like, what is he? Just I've got things to do. No, I mean I worked like in an office space sort of environment where I'm like.
They don't do that at Texas Instruments.
No, they did not. It was like get to the meeting. Every Monday morning meeting was a stressful meeting.
Right.
But anyway, so you start off the meeting with who watched the Oscars, and you've got like a group of 20 people in there, and like 2 people, you being one
me,
of
and Jesse.
Maybe,
that was it. Like 3 people.
And Jesse, because he does social media, so because he felt like he had to.
Yeah, because you want to see if there's going to be like the Ellen DeGeneres selfie moment or something like that.
But I'm telling you, young people are not watching the Oscars.
They're not watching it. Well, I was saying in the meeting, I said nobody goes to the movies anymore, which isn't true, but think about who goes to the movies. The Avengers and Star Wars and those huge movies draw, obviously a lot of fans, and that's the industry right now. The rest of it seems to be really niche stuff. It just feels like that. So, and I get it because I don't see any of these movies, most of them anyway, until like a year or 2 later when they're out on Netflix or wherever I can see them in my home. I have small kids, so I don't, we don't run out to the movies. I used to go to the movies every week, Deepi. Every single week I'd go to the movies.
I still love going to the movies.
I love it too, but I don't go.
No, but I don't think it's that because people will still. I don't know if it's the awards or if it's who's up for the awards or there's not like an entertainment aspect to the Oscars anymore. I mean, I think if you like fashion and you enjoy the movies, you'll watch it. But what's
think of
the
the
draw?
songs they had. No host, which I think they do need a host.
Yeah,
I like a host, and I liked having
it's a
Chris
good
Rock
host.
and Steve Martin up there. But everything gets so political. So I read it was The Ringer, and I forget the writer, but he was saying that they attacked themselves and then they celebrated themselves in the same show, and they went back and forth doing that celebration and attack, self-attack, because they're criticizing themselves for not enough minority nominees and everything like that.
Right.
So and I get it, but I think it's a difficult thing to win at this stage. I was saying the Emmys though, are huge because everyone watches Netflix and everything being nominated. Right? Everyone feels like they've seen the winners and the nominees
because the shows encompass more of what people are watching. I don't know
Yeah,
if
they
the
come
movies,
right out.
Even the movies that were up, like I think I see a good amount of movies. I have not seen any of the ones that were nominated.
There's so much good television now, meaning if you include the streaming services, like Netflix, Amazon, whatever else.
Most of the good television.
Yeah,
right
there's so much good stuff out there, and like I like Big Little Lies on HBO, or I like Billions, which is kind of hokey but really fun, like entertaining dialogue.
I still see the guy from Homeland when I watch Billions.
Oh, you don't see him in his new character.
Well, I hadn't seen enough episodes. I'm like,
you gotta watch it. It's
Yeah.
it's people overrate the show a little bit.
Really?
It's not deep. Like the story itself is not that compelling to me. The dialogue is really great. It's really well written.
It doesn't need to be deep for me to. I mean, I just spent 6 hours watching Cheer, like in a 24-hour period, and I was
you
so
interviewed
into it.
you interviewed Casey, our cheerleader.
That's why I wanted to interview her.
Okay.
She was probably like, that is very different from what we do here.
Yeah, that's not us.
But when are we going to do
it?
baskets? When are we going to have more baskets and pyramids, Casey? Yes. She'd seen some of it.
Have we ever done a pyramid? Has the Texans cheerleader squad? You did? That's a good tease. Find out on Deepi's podcast with Casey.
Are we doing pyramids? Well, because the Ravens, they had male cheerleaders.
Yes, they do.
Remember? And they were doing acrobatics. So I said, well, is it something that we have considered, or do you think we'll ever? You'll have to listen to the podcast for. I
said they're like rebels. You know where I was going with that? They're the yell leaders. I'm like rebel yell, like Billy Idol, like that
or the
popped
Aggies,
into my brain.
The Aggies, they're called yell leaders.
The yell
right?
leaders, the Aggies. Yeah. Didn't Mr. Deepi go to Texas
he did.
A&M?
This is why I know a lot of things.
Was he a yell leader?
No, he was not.
Did he go to midnight yell practice?
He did. I was
did.
So they would coach you on how to cheer for your team? Yes. And everybody went. They used to do the bonfire back then.
Right. Oh, yeah, that was,
That was the thing.
Do they still do it unofficially, like off campus? I thought I heard stuff like that.
Really?
They do it like in the woods somewhere, or it's some version of it anyway. It's so sad.
It is.
But he's a big traditionalist, right?
I know a lot about A&M because of.
That's kind of an Aggie color you're wearing. I guess it is.
Maybe. I'm sure he would say it's got too much purple or something in it.
Okay.
Because Aggies are just
they're very particular
about their things.
And why not? No, we were there with our senior management team last year, doing
in College Station.
Yeah, we did our retreat there, like where we strategize and stuff. But we had lunch there, and we were spoken to by, I'm gonna forget the name of the gentleman who owns Camp Ozark and. Anyway,
okay.
So he spoke to us about all the tradition there, and it was so interesting. I mean, I know about a lot of it, but it was so interesting. I could totally see the appeal.
I think back in the 90s, they also didn't have any fraternities or sororities because they were considered one brotherhood, which I like. But I think now since they've added some, so there are things about it that have changed even over the last 10 years.
Of course, it's evolution. That's what happens.
It is evolution. It's kind of cool. So my middle son is just obsessed with the Aggies. I think he's going to end up.
Yeah.
I mean,
like I said,
after
I
all
totally
this schooling, I'm going to be like, you can go anywhere. I want to go to Texas A&M. It's like, well.
There's so many choices in the state. Like I was with my kid. We went to a Cougs basketball game, and he said, he's 14, so he's starting to think about that stuff. And he said, would I go? Would I think about? I was like, University of Houston, great school. Why not? Yeah. I mean, I think. Sam Houston, if you want to go into communications, or Stephen F. Austin has a great nursing program, among other things. Like we have two really high-profile members of our business ops side, John Schriever and Jennifer Davenport, who are lumberjacks. So,
interesting.
I know we're being like all-encompassing with the universities.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at colleges now for my son. We were going to start doing that whole tour thing, and it's overwhelming because I think when we were applying for colleges, it was like I lived in Indiana,
right?
So I was like, okay, I want to do engineering, so I guess Purdue.
All right, so you wanted to stay local.
I didn't visit until like I knew. I mean, I didn't visit other. You'd get the mailers.
Right.
Like I remember getting one from like Tulane, like very random places. But my parents were like, well, you're not going. No one's going to say that. No, you're not going there.
Well, I grew up in New York,
expensive.
New England, so going to Boston University was hardly a stretch. 3-hour drive from New York, and pretty easy to get to. There's so many to choose. Like within a 3-4 hour drive of the New York metropolitan area, you hit like everything, So there's a lot of selection up there.
But you're asking like a 16-year-old
to make a big decision
to say, okay, so are you thinking small school, big school, East? And they don't know anything.
No, they don't.
Because like LSU won the national championship, and he's like, what about LSU? And I'm like, you just want to go because they have a good football team.
Yeah. And they might not by the time you get there. Well, they probably will.
I think things like that are important.
Well, is he thinking state or?
He doesn't care. He says California might be nice. Well, it would be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice.
It would be nice if.
But to go visit him or just to fly him back and forth, yeah.
Yeah, I suggested Purdue because I was like, it's a great engineering school. But I think that I'm going to have to sell it really hard and maybe go in the summertime and maybe not in the dead of winter to Purdue.
Oh, if you want to convince him to go there.
Super cold.
Yeah, that's a miserable existence in the Midwest in the winter.
It is, but kids in Texas.
I know it's a great school.
Kids in Texas think they like the cold. Like they think
They
like
do.
they think they like snow. They
You're
think
right.
it's cute to wear hats.
Oh, yeah.
It's not cute when it's May.
No, and the
you're
snow
scraping
gets
ice.
dirty and muddy, and you don't see that in the postcards, right?
No.
The filth, the disgusting
The
snow.
slush.
And here's the other thing. When you're an adult living in cold weather, you drive everywhere. So it's not as bad. When you're a kid and you have to walk across campus in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tyler Marcotte's on the board right now, and he's like nodding, I'm sure. Like he went to Central Michigan University, and I used to work there.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something.
Oh,
I'm sure
Michigan.
for those students walking across campus, burr. That's awful. Like you live here for like a year, you're like, I am never leaving the South. This is good. I love this.
I agree. My son also suggested Michigan. I'm like, you're not going to live in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
No.
You are
It's
not
great
gonna
school,
live there.
great
school. You will freeze.
Yeah.
But then I feel like maybe I should just let him freeze.
He'll be miserable. He'll want to come home. He'll want to come home.
I'll be like,
Go to the University of Miami.
Well,
That's
yeah.
a good school now, by the way. Now, last 20 years.
but maybe,
no, it got a lot better.
I don't know.
It's still got a bad.
I don't
You know
know.
what? It's so funny how the national perception is that. But when Donna Shalala got there, she set out to make it the Stanford of the Southeast or something. All right, let's tap the brakes on that. But
I think it could be depending on like if you're marine biology or something. Where
yeah,
it's like
medical's pretty good too, I think.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think there's a lot of. I don't think I would have studied much.
So are we going to talk football on this thing?
Maybe. But I want to ask you about your dog. Because
Oh yeah,
this
we
is-
started out with dog.
Well,
That was
we
the
are going
topic
to circle
of the day.
back. So dogs. My youngest asks at least daily for a dog. You guys just recently got a
Yeah,
dog, which
yeah.
is shocking to me because you don't seem like a dog person.
I'm a dog person.
Wait,
I
you
grew
are?
up with a dog.
You did?
I had cats as an adult. I'm kind of bi-pet. I like both cats and dogs, okay?
I see you as a cat person. I don't see you as a dog.
I was like, I inherited my mom's cat when she died. And
Okay.
then I felt bad for the cat because I was out doing games a lot. I was like, I have to get a friend for the cat. So I was a single guy with two cats, which is really weird. Like I was becoming cat guy. Like that's
Yeah.
weird. But that was a long time ago. So now we have a dog, and the boys love the dog. And the dog loves the boy, and they don't get it. Like I'm playing with the dog, and the dog's making that growling noise, and they're like, "Is he upset?" I'm like, "No. This is what dogs do.
I wouldn't know
Dogs
that.
enjoy this. They like to
This
play
is
rough.
fun.
It's a medium-sized dog, so it's a versatile dog. It can do big dog. It can do little dog. You can have the dog on the couch, or you can like play with it like a big dog. So I love this dog, and it was a semi-rescue. Like it was at
Oh,
the
good.
SPCA for a while. And then a friend of ours had it, and we got the dog from the friend. So yeah, the dog checks out and everything. Really fun. I really, to me, it's like my new emotional support animal. So yes,
You're going to
very
start
good.
traveling to the
I
games
really like.
with the
I don't
dog.
I don't mean to make fun of that. Although it's like emotional support animal.
I
okay.
get it with dogs.
I get,
They're
but
very
they
calming.
do as opposed to cats, which cats you have to ignore them and then they come to you. Like dogs really do give a lot. They're
Okay.
happy. Like this dog's so thrilled when I get home. I'm like, this is nice. The dog's very happy. The kids are still happy when I come home,
But not like the dog.
but the dog is extra happy.
So your wife did not, because I feel like I'm a little bit
Did
more
not
like
want
your
the dog.
wife. I'm just kind of like, I just
Did not
potty
want the
trained
dog.
3 boys.
Yeah.
I don't really
Did not want
want
the dog.
stuff,
The dog will
like
win
happening
you
in the
over.
house.
The dog will win you over.
Okay, but is she she's okay with a dog in
she's
the
like
house on her stuff?
82.5% there, like
Really?
which is a big distance.
Huge.
She pets the dog.
She pets the dog.
She does see the joy in the dog, but I feel like we're on the edge of I'm getting rid of it while you're at work. I still feel like we're on the edge of that.
Because
So.
she's home. She's the one is she doing most of the who does most of the work for the dog?
Me and the boy. She does feed the dog sometimes. She's doing some of the work,
Okay.
definitely. But I don't think she's gone for a full walk with the dog ever. Like a full walk.
Really? Okay.
I take the dog on a full walk at night and a full walk in the morning.
You do.
Oh yeah, I
This
do.
already seems like a lot of work.
No, it's fun. It's great. Walking the dog is very therapeutic. That's why JJ has dogs. They're very therapeutic.
Right.
They're good for healing. That's why.
Right.
That's why he was able to come back from the torn pec.
The
Because the dogs.
dog
yes,
helps
the
him
dogs
heal
are-
faster.
It just being around them, it makes you feel better.
Well, it's to be
It's true.
continued. I mean, I'm kind of 50-50. Some days I'm like, the kids with the dog would be so cute and teach responsibility. But I also told my husband, you are going to do all the work. I
Yeah.
don't know anything about dogs. I don't really want to.
You'll end up having to do some stuff.
I'm not going
Don't
to do.
buy
No,
into
no,
that.
no. Everyone knows when I say I'm not going to do anything.
Right.
Probably because I'm also I travel. It's hard.
You do travel.
Yeah.
You do
so
travel.
during football season, not much.
You
is
have
gonna
to
be
get
happening.
you know what? Don't downplay the rescue aspect here. Like everyone wants to get a cool little puppy or whatever. You got to train those suckers, okay?
Yes,
you get a
I
rescue
heard.
dog. The dog needs a home, so you adopt the dog. The dog's happy, and the dog's chances are you get a trained dog. It's already trained.
Are your kids allergic to dogs? 'Cause
No.
I have one that's allergic.
No, my mother-in-law is allergic to cats, so I thought about getting a cat.
You should.
But
It was a rescue.
Sorry, Rita.
Mom.
But we got a dog instead.
Yeah.
So
So the dog
sheds a tiny bit too. Like this was another. She was looking at like cockapoos and kickapoos and whatever poo. Like you mix anything with a poodle.
The doodles that don't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Poodles have a lot of affairs apparently because there's every different breed with a play off poodle.
But they're perfect if you need a hypoallergenic.
Yeah,
but I don't know
yes.
if everything's truly like hypoallergenic.
Yeah,
From what I've heard.
It's true. But this dog does shed a little bit. But this dog is so happy. Anyway, I'm thrilled.
So-
Pippa is her name.
Pippa
Yeah.
the dog. I feel like
that she came with that name. She arrived with that name.
the boys didn't want to change.
Nah,
the name?
well, we wanted to change, but it's a 5-year-old dog. You can't change that. I don't want the dog to have an identity
George.
crisis. Yes.
George.
You will now be called. I think the dog
Pippa
would be
George.
like, really? Give me something. Allow me to have some sort of dignity. So.
Yeah. So the dog. Well, the only reason why I'm kind of considering a dog is because my middle son then asked for a hamster. He got really good grades, and
Right.
I said, you can ask for anything within reason. I can veto anything. And then the boys wanted a hamster, which I was so disgusted by the thought of a
It's
hamster
a rat.
that a dog
It's a
actually
rodent.
sounds very nice.
Yes, a
So I
dog
said,
sounds nice. Now, we had a fish, and I actually got the fish idea from you because you had a beta fish,
They're
right?
all dead. We had
Yeah.
3 fish. They're all dead.
Well, ours finally died too, and it disappeared. Like I
Huh?
I knew it was dead for a while, and I was like, I don't want to go in there, like, because my youngest thought it was still like alive and sleeping. I'm like, he's in his little cave in
He's
there. or
sleeping.
something.
I know
He's
is
sleeping.
This is life.
And then one day I'm like,
lessons.
I got to go in there because it's going to get disgusting.
Yeah.
I go in there, I couldn't find the fish, and I swear, no, I think the fish evaporated. Something happened. Yeah.
Did you have one beta fish or 2?
One. No, you can't have 2 because they kill each
Oh, that's
other.
why. That's what I was asking because
Yeah.
Tyler Marc back here had 2 beta fish.
And did they go after each
and
other?
one was gone.
Ooh.
Didn't know where it went.
Oh,
Found out later.
Did he? Now he's a videographer. I wonder if he shot that. That would have been like
I think he was
when
younger.
animals attack tonight on Fox. That would have been
Could make
funny.
our own little network. No, we had
Yeah.
3, and I think the youngest was overfeeding because one died, then the other one died, and so we had the filter. But I think the filter was like, "Yo, you got to chill
No,
on feeding these fish."
No, you got to be careful with all that. I mean,
We had one beta
it is a
fish, yeah.
pain. It does require maintenance. There's any kind of pet. I don't care what it is. Requires maintenance and a little bit of love, like love, the verb to love, the act of love.
Yes.
Not like I love the fish, but like you got to actually take care of it. And that to me is love. All right.
My sister-in-law says half a kid.
That's what we're going to
It's
talk
like-
about on the
it's a
podcast
half
next
a
time.
kid.
What is love? What is love? Yeah.
It's like coming up next, and then maybe we'll have a title, like a non-working
You don't think
title.
Texans Coffee Talk works?
I like it. You're the one that I guarantee in an hour you're going to come into my office and you're going to come up with Battle Red something else.
Well,
Barista.
Beyond the blue lot is a phrase I use to describe things when we're on Texans radio discussing things like I would never, like this would never be on Texans radio because like, on Sports Radio 610, you got to be like, bang, bang, bang. Like I can't even put an excerpt of this. Let's have a tease. This is when we're talking about the dog. Like that doesn't play.
The part where we talk about JJ and his dogs, maybe like that.
That's 22 seconds.
15-second
And then
clip.
we'll be able to put the rest of it on the internet somewhere, on the interweb, as it were.
I don't know if you saw this. Drew sent this around last night. Deshaun Watson. Some fans were
Yes.
driving around. He was in his Bentley truck.
Yes.
And I was like, "This
Is that what that was? Because I was trying to get the make of that. I'm like,
the guy
what is
yelled
that?
it. He was like, in the Bentley truck."
Yeah, I watched
Well,
it
you sound
quickly, and I
down.
had the
You
dog.
fast-forwarded
Yeah,
it, didn't
yeah.
you?
I
And-
saw that he was giving the signal, and Watson's great.
The pure joy from the guy filming the video
Yes.
is what I think made it go viral.
And Deshaun responding to it.
Oh yeah.
He's
He
a
was so
terrific guy.
you could tell that as a fan of football, he probably knew that him just rolling down the window and like acknowledging these guys and laughing
He
at them.
knows.
What
He's
great-
a football fan.
Yeah.
Remember we had Michael Vick in the building doing a feature with him, right? I think a couple of times.
Right.
And, my kid was here one day when Vick was here. He said, "Damn, that's Michael Vick." And Michael Vick on Madden. Do your kids play Madden?
Yes.
I mean, Madden is a whole other adventure. Like they are building teams and trading guys and getting like packages and whatever they do, and it costs extra money sometimes. My kid is Michael Vick as the quarterback of the
Really?
Texans. Yeah. I mean, he's got like Eric Dickerson at running back and Michael Vick as the quarterback and who else? I don't know, some other guys, but I think he still has Andre Johnson because he loves Andre Johnson so much.
Right.
But he's got a whole Texans team, but he loves Vick. Like we were watching the 30 for 30 on Vick, and I mean, he's like, "Oh, Vick did that. he didn't know about the compound." Like,
he's like, "Why do more people not like you?"
People make mistakes. Okay, that was a very elaborate one, but yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up because I felt like Deshaun then quote tweeted. It made SportsCenter, and then Deshaun quote tweeted.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, SportsCenter put it out there.
See, that's another one. All right, do you still watch SportsCenter?
No.
Okay, I do sometimes. Like at night, if I'm just chilling, I'll watch SVP and I'll just check it out because like I'm catching up on stuff. And I do like it when it's sort of presented to me and I'm not on my phone digging in. But my kid, who is my market research focus group of 14 years old, watches SportsCenter on Snapchat.
Oh,
and they have a whole different SportsCenter there. They have the same highlights, but they have a young guy doing it like, all right, LeBron dropped 40 tonight, and let's see what happened with the Lakers.
It's like 0.3 seconds per game highlight. Like, I mean, it's just so fast.
It's pretty
right?
funny how they, they cater to the youths of the world.
Yeah, they do.
The youths.
My kids don't watch TV yet. They know everything that's happening all the time. Like, nothing gets past them.
Because they got
D's.
D's.
I know.
They got D's.
Good and bad. It's good and bad.
Do you limit the time?
I take the phone. Yes, on school nights, the phone has to be taken away at a certain time, and then it stays in my room at night.
Okay,
I
that's
charge
good.
it in my room.
Yeah. I take the phone away.
The problem is when they're 16 and then they go to bed after you, like on the weekends. Sometimes
That's
I'm like,
tough. No, I'll grab it. I'll grab it.
But I fall asleep so
Those
early.
nights. Oh, you do. Those
Sometimes
nights,
I do.
I'll say, all right, you can stay up a little bit later, but I got the phone. But he's still on Madden. He's still on Madden after that. People with kids understand these things that. It's tough with kids, because these things, you have access to everything in the world. When I was a kid, it's like everything was a big mystery.
I kind of liked it when they would just watch TV because I could always see what they were watching. I don't every now and then when they're on their phone watching something, I'll say, "Give me your headphones. I want to hear what you're watching." Because sometimes they're just watching, like my youngest, like if he's watching a YouTube, it'll sometimes skip to the next video.
Right.
And I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah. What's that? YouTube's a little bit better with that now, though. I think that you're not going from,
I don't like YouTube
Madden gamer video to Last Tango in Paris. All right, you're not doing that. So I think if you let it roll, it's not going to get too bad for them. Like my kid was watching all these Logan Paul videos and everything. Like, you know who that is?
Who is that? That sounds so familiar.
He's just one of those guys. He used to be an actor. He's huge on YouTube.
Okay.
Huge.
I'm sure my kid.
And he's gotten in trouble for saying some things, I guess. It's not exactly entirely inappropriate, but it's a little edgy. Okay, it's one of those deals. But I just find this stuff very interesting how they're consuming the media.
Maybe we should give like dog tips, parenting tips, and then like a little bit of football for each week of our podcast. Should that be the rundown? Should that be the formula?
I think, people have to understand that, we kind of went Seinfeldian on it. It's a show about nothing.
I wanted to call it a podcast about nothing. I thought maybe 3 people would get that because maybe the younger group.
They're like, what is that?
Like, what does that even mean?
Is an old show. I mean, it went off the air before some of our staff was born, so maybe it is.
When they pitched their own show to the network, they pitched Seinfeld. The cast of Seinfeld pitched Seinfeld as a show about nothing.
Right.
So I thought this really is a podcast about nothing.
Yeah, and
That's
it's funny when
perfect
George
title.
presents it. He's like, "Here's our idea.
Here's the idea.
Nothing. Nothing." And that's how I felt about this. Like, I just want to forget
Yes.
the cameras are on and we're just talking.
You've got coffee though.
I've got coffee. That's all I need.
our-
And I think, like, especially the way we began this thing, I was just inhaling this. But that's life, right? How many people? You all do this in the morning, don't you? You inhale your coffee.
All right. Well, I hope
Not
that
all
this
of you, but-
podcast gave everyone the same effect. I hope that maybe when you end it, when you finish this podcast, you have like a little burst of energy for your day. And tweet Marc if there's anything that you want to hear on this podcast.
At me,
Directly,
don't
direct-
at you, at me. At me.
Because Marc is going to be like, I don't want to talk about it. I will. So and
Yeah.
title names. Send him your suggestions since he's feels
Yes.
very strongly about Coffee Talk, but not so much that he wants to commit to it.
Okay.
Coffee Talk working title. All right, I think that's going to do it for our first podcast, Marc.
I guess we're done for now.
I think so.
I'm all
because
talked out.
Your
Not
caffeine.
really. I
Let's
could
not
keep going.
waste your caffeine on this podcast.
I
You've
can
got
keep
other
going.
things to do.
We barely hit on anything.
We barely
but we'll
scratched
do it
the
next time.
All right, thanks so much, Marc.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.